what's going on, everybody? Another month has passed, so it's time for my Blu-ray DVD update. I've got a lot of titles to go through here, so I'm going to try and breeze through them a little faster than I normally do. So let's get started right away. First couple are a couple more DVD TV seasons. These are the only DVDs in this list, the rest are all Blu-rays. So the first one is the third season of Golden Girls. Last update, I bought seasons 4 and 5. Went on Amazon and decided to pick up the third season, and my stance on this still stands. It's a funny show. When I was growing up, I remember seeing snippets of it and thinking that it was more like for old ladies and stuff, but it's actually very funny. It's got a lot of humor that both genders can enjoy. It's very fun. There's a lot of sarcastic comments, and it's just an entertaining show. So picked that up. So now we have in total, we have seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of this series, and I think there's only 7 seasons in total, so just got 2 more to pick up, and then we have the complete series of Golden Girls. The next TV season is another third season, and another season that we've got the first 2 of. It is one of my wife's favorites, and that is King of the Hill. I wouldn't put this as high a ranking as Futurama or Simpsons, in my opinion, or even Bob's Burgers, but I do enjoy this one. It's got a good drier sense of humor. There's a lot of just straight bluntness that comes with the humor too, which is kind of entertaining. But yeah, it's not my favorite animated series, and I'm not in any rush to pick up the entire series. But I know my wife really likes it, so I wanted to make sure that I picked that up for her. I think I picked it up the same time as I got Golden Girls. So, but yeah, now we've got the third season to add to our first 2 seasons. And that's it for DVDs, so now on to the Blu-rays. So the first one is actually a more recent pickup, and that is Denis Villeneuve's Arrival with Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner, and Forest Whitaker. This is one of the very few movies that I watched twice within a 30-hour period. I watched it one night. I got it up from the library, I watched it, and then the next day I took it over to my in-laws and we watched it again, and it's just a gorgeous film. It's a good thinking film, and it's not your standard alien invasion film, which I liked. It was a lot more thought-provoking, it was a little more dramatic, a little more character building, as opposed to just the guns and lasers and blowing up stuff. So it was a good change of pace in terms of alien invasion movies and stuff, and another proof, or another film to prove that Denis Villeneuve is just a phenomenal filmmaker. I think I've seen all of his films except for Enemy, which I really want to see, and his first film in Incendies, I believe. I'm sure it's got more of a French accent, but I'm terrible at French, so I'm not even going to attempt it. But yeah, Sicario, Blade Runner, Prisoners, and this, all fantastic films. I love him as a director, and I still need to get a couple of his films, but was glad to finally get Arrival. Actually, when I went to get this one earlier with something else that I've got on this list, or in this update, and I couldn't get it because Amazon said it was a Prime only, only Prime members could get it, and I was very upset. And then we wound up getting something else, and we needed to push it into that free shipping margin, and I saw that this one was available to the public and not just Prime members, so I was okay, I gotta get this now because it's cheap, and if I don't get it now, then it's gonna be a Prime member exclusive. So finally added Arrival to my collection. The next one I picked up also with Arrival through Amazon, and that is Exodus: Gods and Kings. Now I specifically I won't worry about it, but I specifically went for the Blu-ray 3D edition because this edition comes with the extra bonus features disc, and I'm weird. I like having my bonus features. I think I've said this on a few other videos. I like having bonus features, but I don't always watch them. But I am trying to make a little more effort to try and get around to watching them. And I know that Ridley Scott does a lot of he goes really in depth, because I've got this now, and I've got the Prometheus one with the extra bonus disc. And I think of my Gladiator DVDs, the extended edition, it's 3 discs long, so he puts a lot of effort into his bonus features, or whoever works on his bonus features puts a lot of effort into making sure there's a lot of content. And there is like 5 hours, it says here, of extra content. Let me just, yeah, 5 hours of extra content. And as the movie itself, I actually really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people were kind of upset with the whole, Christian Bale being cast as an Egyptian character and that kind of stuff, but he's a phenomenal actor. And while I would like to see more the ethnicities be like represented, if you've got a good actor, they should be able to just mask that, and you shouldn't just be focusing on that. You should be focusing on the performance and stuff. But that's my take on it. I know a lot of people have a different opinion of that, and that's fine. But I thought Christian Bale did a great job. I thought Joel Edgerton did a great job. Ridley Scott this movie looks gorgeous as always, as per Ridley Scott. And it is a bit slower than a lot of his other films, but I thought it was an entertaining film, and I'm glad to finally picked it up. Again, I went with the 3D version, and I've been holding off for it because it's usually like really expensive, and Amazon had dropped it quite substantially, so I picked it up. The next one is one of the first ones I got last month, and that is Fantastic Four, the double feature. So this has Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. These are in my opinion, these are the good Fantastic Four movies. I know a lot of people really didn't like these ones when they came out, but I think people's tones have changed since Fan4stick came out, and I will to the end of my days I will refer to that movie as Fan4stick, just to differentiate the two. But so this film comes with both Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, as I said. I prefer the first Fantastic Four over the Silver Surfer Fantastic Four film. That one was kind of more sloppily put together, I think. Still an entertaining little romp if you just need something to kind of like mellow out to. But in terms of like the whole thing, I found the first one was substantially better. They're still not great films, I will admit that, but they're fun and I enjoy them. And most of the time, that's why I watch movies, is just to have fun. I don't necessarily want to critique every little thing, because then what am I supposed to enjoy? So one thing I did with this Blu-ray set, though, is, so there's the two Blu-ray discs. What I did is I originally had these on DVD, and my DVD of the first Fantastic Four film was an extended cut. I think it's got like 24 extra minutes, so it goes from like being 1 hour and 40 to about 2 hours long. So I kept that, and it was a 2-disc set, so I put them in this stacking disc case, and kept that edition, because the Blu-ray of the first film does not have the extended edition, nor does it have any of the bonus features that the DVD came with, so I kept those. I did, however, have the 2-disc Silver Surfer edition, but all the bonus features from that were transferred onto the Blu-ray of the second film, so I didn't have to keep my DVD of that, at least. So I put it all into one case to keep it all nice and contained and not take up extra space on my DVD shelf. The next one I picked up is a classic from my childhood, and after rewatching it I realized I probably shouldn't have seen it as a kid, but I did anyways, and that's just how it is, and that is Smokey and the Bandit. My dad, I think I said this in one of my other videos when I got Black Dog, my dad was he used to be a truck driver. If there was any movie involving truck driving, he had to find it and had to watch it, and this was a favorite of ours growing up, or as I was growing up. I don't know how many times I watched this film, this and the second film. And I really waffled between getting the Blu-ray of the first film or trying to get the DVD of the trilogy. I don't really like the third one, but I really like the second one, and they never released the second one on Blu-ray yet. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to get this one on Blu-ray or not, but I decided to get the first one on Blu-ray because it's the 40th anniversary edition, and it comes with an 1.5-hour documentary on the relationship between the director and Burt Reynolds, and how they were roommates, and how he came to Burt with this idea for this movie. And so I'm really interested in checking that out. I think it'll actually be very entertaining and just put a little more information into something that I grew up with. But yeah, I love this film. But yeah, rewatching it, there is a lot that would not fly in this movie. There's a lot that would not fly these days in this movie. There's a lot of let's just say it's a product of the times and leave it at that. there's a lot in this movie that would offend a lot of people if they tried to make this movie word for word, shot for shot, this day and age. Which is kind of a shame and kind of makes it awkward to watch. But I still enjoyed it. It brought back a lot of nostalgic memories watching that Trans Am drive up and down the road. So, yeah, glad to finally have Smokey and the Bandit added to my collection. We're coming up to the end here, so the last couple that I picked up. The next one I picked up here is the premium edition of Kingsman and the Secret Service. This is a great looking box set. It's a matte finish. It's kind of I want to say plush, but it's not plush because plush is like stuffy. But it's very soft. It's matte. It's got this very nice gold lettering. It's a very nice looking case. And what makes it the premium edition is not actually any bonus features. The case is different, and it even says premium edition right there. But it's the exact same. It's the same disc that you would get if you had just picked up the Blu-ray, like when it first came out. I think this came out just before the Golden Circle came out. But there's no bonus features. There's no extras whatsoever. It's the same edition that you would have gotten like a couple years before. What makes this the premium edition is the added content. So it has these postcards, these character cards. I'm not going to pull them out because it's kind of a pain to get them out of this. And it comes with this like 42 page booklet of just like the making of and casting options and just kind of that stuff. I think it's written by the director. I'm not sure who it's written by. Doesn't say. But yeah, it's very nice glossy pages, very nice put together. I thought when I ordered it, I was kind of hoping it was going to be a hardcover, but it's not. But that's okay. It's still a very well put together thing. It's got a lot of information, so that's kind of your extra bonus features or your extra documentary, as it were. But yeah, my one downside to this, and it's only because I live in Canada, is this was an American import, and I kind of knew going in that I would have this issue, but I thought I would try it anyways. And the digital copy does not work here in Canada. I messaged the Fox Ultraviolet or whatever, and they said that they couldn't send me a Canadian copy, which I thought was kind of unfair because I did still buy the movie. I still have the movie, but they wouldn't go with it. I know other studios I've bought, unaware that I've bought an imported copy, went to put in the code, it didn't work. I emailed the company and they're like, oh yeah, sure, here, and they gave me a new code, one that works in my region. Fox unfortunately did not, so I do not have the digital copy working for this, unfortunately. So if anybody knows how to work around that, that's legal, drop me a message in the comments. But yeah, I'm not up for like changing my IP address or anything, and really it's not worth all that hassle to try and do it. So I was hoping that they would honor that, but they didn't. But whatever, I still have the physical copy, and that's what's important. The next one here is a box set, and that is the Bourne Ultimate Collection. This collection was released just before the fifth film, Jason Bourne, was released. Oops. Let's see if I can get it out of the case. And when it was released, it had, so it's that booklet that kind of goes along with like Jurassic Park and other Universal films. So it's got the Bourne Identity, the Bourne Supremacy, Bourne Ultimatum, Bourne Legacy, and when it was first released, it had a slot for Jason Bourne. I held off, waited, Jason Bourne came out, now it's actually comes in here. I didn't have to buy Jason Bourne separately and put it in the disc, or put the disc in the case. I did that with Jurassic Park, and I wasn't a huge fan of how that worked out, just because then I had this extra case that I didn't know what to do with. So I just held off and I waited for Jason Bourne to come out. Plus, when this was released, it has like all the bonus features and the description and all these photos and stuff. With Jason Bourne, because it was released before the movie came out, there was no bonus features list. This, I think, just had like a little synopsis, like right here, none of these pictures were here, and then it had like the poster right here, and that was it. It was very dull, very boring looking, so I held off, waited for them to release Jason Bourne, and then just picked it up. And of course, then I had to wait for the price to come down to get it. So I think I got it at Walmart for a Father's Day, with a Father's Day deal or something. They had like a bunch of movies on sale. So, But yeah, I had the first 3 films on DVD. I really enjoyed them. I liked Legacy. It wasn't great, but I enjoyed it. And I liked the 5th one, but I enjoyed it, but it wasn't great also. I think the best one is probably the 2nd one. The scary thing is I've seen the first one twice, and the 2nd and the 3rd one once, and I don't remember them at all. And the scary thing is I rewatched the first one before going and seeing the 5th one, and I still hardly remember them, so it's kind of one of those movies that every time I get to rewatch it, it's kind of like a surprise. And it's like watching it for the first time, which is kind of nice. But yeah, they're very entertaining films. They're well done. Matt Damon, this is his starring role. Like, this is his role, right? But yeah, great collection. Glad to finally have it. And yeah, that's all I can really say about the Bourne films. And the last one is something that I had the chance of getting 3 years ago. I had 2 opportunities to pick it up. I didn't. They re-released it, the price went up, and I've been waiting for it to drop in price ever since. And that is the Star Wars Complete Saga. So this is Star Wars Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. This is the 9-disc set, so it has all 6 films plus 3 extra bonus discs. I've actually watched Phantom Menace and half of its bonus features, and because I went out and I needed the complete box set, because I know that there's the individual packs. There's the 2 3 film sets. I know I could have got those, but I was really holding out for the box set. I still am kicking myself for not getting the desert packaging with Anakin right here, and the 2 moons and stuff, and the book packaging similar to the Bourne series. But it didn't matter. I needed to have this box. I needed to have these films in my collection. When they first released the Blu-ray set, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, I was like, nope, I'm gonna hold out. I'm gonna get they'll release the original trilogy, like the theatrical versions where Han shoots first, all that stuff. I was a die-hard, nope, I'm not giving into all of these edits and stuff. And I just hit a point where I was like, you know what? Forget the edits. Just who cares that they're there? They're there, whatever. I want Star Wars. I want to have the Star Wars movies in my collection on Blu-ray. And so I had the opportunity twice to get it. I chose something else. And I was like, I'll get it eventually. That version went out of print. They brought this version in. They raised the price about $20, and I was like, I wish I had gotten that when I had the chance. And every so often it would drop in price, but it was never really in my budget. And then with Father's Day and Solo being released, they dropped it to the lowest I've ever seen it. And finally my wife was like, you know what, I think it's cheap enough, you can go and get it. So I was very happy that day. And yeah, so now I finally have all of the Star Wars films on Blu-ray, minus Solo, but it's not out yet. And like I said, I've rewatched Phantom Menace, and you guys are gonna hate me for saying this, but I know it's more of a common opinion now. I don't mind the prequels. I like all 6 films. Don't get me wrong. I think Empire is probably the best. Actually, no, my favorite is The New Hope still. But I do like the Phantom Menace. I like aspects of Attack of the Clones, and definitely Revenge of the Sith is the best out of these 3. But after rewatching Phantom Menace, I was like, you know what, there is some issues to it. I can agree wholeheartedly that there are issues, and it could have been done a lot better. But it's a nostalgic trip for me. It's the first Star Wars film I got to see in theaters. It's the Star Wars films that my generation grew up with. I remember the hype, the Pizza Hut and Taco Bell and KFC toys for Phantom Menace. I remember being so excited for Phantom Menace. I remember being mildly excited for Attack of the Clones. I remember being extremely excited for Revenge of the Sith. So, I remember the excitement leading up to these 3 films. I remember all of that nostalgic stuff, and it comes back every time I watch them. I will admit that Attack of the Clones is garbage. It is 2 hours of slowness and then 15 minutes of okay fighting, but it's not amazing. But the end scene of Phantom Menace is still very exhilarating. The pod race is still very fun. and it's still Star Wars. And, you know, I know that Star Wars is there's a lot going on. Like, there's a lot of toxicity in the Star Wars fandom right now, and it's a shame because I don't understand why we can't just enjoy these movies. Because they all have their merits, they all have their enjoyabilities, even if some of them aren't as good as another one. You can't replicate the same thing. And I wish that people would really get that, but, you know, it's one of the hardest films to be a fan of because of the toxic fans that are a part of it. So, but you know what? That's my 2 cents on it. I'm not gonna rant and rave on that. So, anyways, I have taken up far too much time. I've taken up much more time than I had hoped on. But that is the June update for my collection. If I can just lower this and get the whole shot there. So yeah. Star Wars Saga, Bourne Ultimate Collection, Kingsman: The Secret Service, Smokey and the Bandit, Fantastic Four 2-pack, Exodus, Arrival, King of the Hill Season 3, and Golden Girls Season 3. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment in the box down below. Let me know. Let's start a conversation. And as always, don't forget to subscribe if you yourself are jonesing for film.